to be in here. All right, now we're on. Okay. Yeah, because you can
It's a lot faster.
All right, so,
essentially end like the consecutive meetings if you only have meetings for 6 straight weeks. So you can put like it ends at this week because that's as long as your meetings go for. For us, we never stop having these.
yeah, well, and that's a new factor, right? I don't know
And
when
so
that got
whoever
introduced.
whoever
It-
originally-
but-
probably Kendra tried to set it up and just set up.
Yeah, I thought it was set up indefinitely.
Yeah, me too. Well, here we are. All right, let's go.
All right,
We got it.
so we're recording now
We're
too.
recording. Good
All
to
right,
go.
very good, thank you. We had a technical glitch to begin with. Nothing has transpired. This is for the official record, I guess, for the recording. We have no members of the public present other than the applicant and in this case, the spokesperson for the applicant, and we will be introducing them momentarily. Let's just start over with a roll call vote of the zoning commission and call the meeting to order.
Perfect. Mike Kavler.
Here.
Jody Manson. Here. Tom Need.
Here.
Louis Greenwell.
Here.
Brittany Hopper.
Here.
Alan Zako is not here.
Thank you. Members of the zoning commission, you heard the roll call. This is for public purposes. Louis Greenwell to my left here on the podium. Tom Need, I'm Mike Kabler, Joni Manson, and Brittany Hupwork. Alan Zako, our alternate, is not present. Our zoning inspector and zoning director, Mike Cannon, is not present, but our zoning assistant, Ashley Zaruba, is present. And she will be taking notes and is responsible for managing people who might be trying to sign in and need to be recognized. Also, our a member of our commission here, Louis Greenwell, will help out with that because sometimes people join and we don't always notice them. If somebody is joining online, we will ask that they would recognize or state their name and their address so that we will know who you are and can be recorded. We have no members of the public present in the room. If we do have anyone come, we will ask them to come up to the podium and speak so that any comments that they make can be recorded. That will be provided when the opportunity for public comment is announced by me, the chairperson. I went through the process earlier, but it didn't get recorded, but let me just briefly summarize that. Don't repeat the whole thing. Our purpose tonight in the preliminary meeting is to provide the opportunity for consultation with an applicant for the purpose of helping them prepare their application materials. Preliminary meetings are open to the public, but public may not participate until recognized by the chairperson. During the meeting, once the public member might be recognized, we ask that the public limit their comments to the topic of discussion. It is not appropriate time at this point to talk about the appropriateness or of the change in zoning. That decision will be made once the applicant decides if they're going to submit an application. At this point, no application has been submitted. This is an informal discussion. No comments made by the members of the zoning commission or any other officials who may be present will be binding and has no legal application to a decision that will be made. Right. At this point then, let me just briefly review the procedure that we're going to follow during the informal preliminary meeting. The potential applicant will be asked to present information regarding what it is that they are planning or considering doing. Commission members will comment and ask any initial questions. Commission members will participate in the discussion and may offer suggestions. Public present and or on Zoom may ask questions and comment only on the topic under discussion. Maximum comment time per individual will be limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the chair. Speaker must be recognized by the chairperson. Only one person speaks at a time. Speaker must state name and address. If present in person at the meeting, speaker must come to the podium. We ask all members of the public to be brief and factual. Do not repeat what has already been stated and do not interrupt the speaker. Do not carry on conversations with anyone while an individual is speaking. If a group wishes to be heard, please have a spokesperson for that. At this point, I want to introduce our applicant, our potential applicant, Mario Capaccio, and Scott Mezer, his representative. At that point then, Scott, I'll turn it over to you. I think you're going to be the spokesperson for the most part. And ask if you would just kind of go through this application, or rather the description of the plan as you have provided it to us, and we'll go through and follow. I think your document is set up appropriately, following the exact requirements specified in the development plan. So with that, I'll turn it over to you and you can walk us through it.
Yes, thank you. Just a quick brief statement of the history of got us here. Mr. Capaccio purchased this property in 2019. It had, as you can see from the photos, this that you have up there, this was the original building. So this gray building that you all have a photo of was the original building on the property. No residence has ever existed on the property. This storage building was built in 1988. Mr. Capaccio bought the property in 2019 with the intention of storing his business equipment, and built the second building that you have photos of that is behind that building. So you have a picture of both of the storage buildings, both the original and the new storage building. That 5,600 square foot additional storage building that was built with a small office to store Mr. Capaccio's trucks. That did receive zoning approval here through Harlem Township, as well as all permits through Delaware County. Was constructed and approved back in 2019. So what we're trying to do today is essentially through this process is legitimize the use of this property the way it's been used since 2019. When we last had our meeting, you directed me, made several comments on our first preliminary meeting, which I tried to address in this new application. So what you have is, a new proposed development plan that has some changes that were made and complies with the new Article 23 that was adopted back in 2020.
Yes, because it ended up being adopted. So
Yeah.
now we need to follow the new.
We need to follow the new plan. And the confusion was a little bit that the preliminary meeting also has items listed for a proposed development.
Right, because.
And those are the old forms. So I think we got that all cleared up, and this new proposed development plan tracks the new code.
It tracks the new one, right?
That's
Because I've gone through it, so I saw that.
Yes.
Excellent, thank
What
you.
was the phone number?
That was Article 23, which
Oh,
was
I'm sorry.
adopted in
Thank you.
2024.
I missed, but thanks for asking. Actually, because that's important to make note of that. Yes, we're talking about Article 23, procedure for rezoning to a planned district. I'm
Correct.
sorry, go ahead, Scott.
So if you look at the new plan, the very first information, we've got the owner's information listed there. And as far as the contiguous properties, there is a list in the packet of every single property that would need to be notified if we go forward with a formal application. B is, I have that labeled as B submitted. That's because the survey that is asked for there and that is required is extremely expensive. And so we're trying to get through this process before we're spending significant resources on the survey. So while you don't have an official survey, there is a site plan and a number of other documents,
Okay.
summarizing the site, but we recognize that you're going to need a formal survey stamped before we would make application.
That would be a requirement at the time that you would decide to submit an application. Yes.
Correct.
But right
Just-
now, no.
Just calling out that we understand that that's going to be
Okay,
needed.
very good.
So C is really the bulk of the development plan. We still list the use of the property. As I've said before, there's no new development or construction being proposed. but we're trying to walk through this as if that we were building this from earlier in 2019. As planned, after purchasing the property, Mr. Capaccia has this 5,600 storage building, which has a small office. It was specifically built to store his concrete trucks. There's also a small storage shed at the rear of the property. It's not being used for storage. He does have 4 sheep that are back there in that rear. You have a picture of that in your photos as well. That would be
Yes,
This
I saw that,
building.
and I got a note on there, I wondered
Yep.
what it was.
Yep, this he has 4 sheep
Chickens.
and a couple chickens, yeah. Currently, so there's no equipment stored back there, it's just a little barn.
Is that
Um,
being used at all then?
It's not being used at all except for the 4 sheep that he feeds back there.
Okay,
There are currently 6 trucks, 4 larger trucks and 2 smaller flatbed trucks. And 2 Bobcats that are stored inside the storage building that you see that was built. And there's also a storage container, which is labeled on your site plan and which I have a picture of here. So this storage container, which happens to be right across from the neighbor's storage container, is the storage container that it sits on the property now. And it is labeled on the site.
yes.
So if you look at the site plan, you will see where the location of that storage container.
Could you hold that up one more time?
This is the photo. So storage container is here.
Okay.
This storage container happens to belong to the neighbor.
It's red.
Yeah,
So so the one that's far right,
those are, you mean yeah, the same one. Same one,
okay, so that,
just a different view. That's a close-up view.
okay,
This is a far-away view of the same storage container.
and saying the one further back is the neighbors on the front
Yes,
side of the
it
fence.
is. That is correct. And these are the concrete forms that just sit there. That's what you load up on the trucks, correct, to take to job sites.
So that is there is outside storage of the forms there.
These concrete forms, which I've labeled on the site plan, if you look at the site plan, both of those are labeled as to where they're located. But yes, you are correct. Those are stored outside behind the building.
Now, on the site plan, it's labeled and then a bunch of X's indicate.
That's,
The X's are just designate the area, it's not.
that's correct. The X's are designated the area where the concrete forms reside.
Okay.
And the storage container is in active use, or it simply is a.
Do you have anything in the storage container?
Yeah, some stuff, yes, some tools.
Tools.
Okay, so it's not just a blind.
No, he's got tools in there, yeah. But again, hopefully at a meeting like this, if there are things like, hey, if you didn't have the storage container, we would be okay. Like, all of these things are just us telling you what exists right now. Obviously, if we move forward with a rezoning request and there are stipulations or contingencies like don't have a storage container, we would be open to all of those suggestions. You'll see, other than some general office work during the day in the small attached office, there's really no business conducted on the property at all. No customers, no sales, no other business operations, no cement is produced at all on the property, no production or operations, literally just simply storage and that little small office, which is used very rarely. There's no noise producing or disruptive maintenance that will occur. We're committing in this development plan, there'll be no cleaning, no washing, no kind of maintenance or disruption whatsoever occurring outside. Maximum of 8 employees would ever be present at any given time, and they're temporary in the morning and the afternoon when arriving and departing for the day. There are restroom facilities that are provided for their use and connected with the office area, as was approved through zoning and through Delaware County when the barn was built.
When the building was constructed.
That's correct. Yep. And I've added new drawings that have to do with the drainage and the septic and some of those things which were requested at our last preliminary meeting. You can see that trucks leave the property between 6 and 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, generally return between 3 and 5. And again, the small office is occasionally used during business hours. Other than that, no other business operations are planned to occur at all. You know, when you look at setbacks, all the buildings were existed and approved and according to the site plan. So setbacks are already as they exist, no new construction or development is being proposed, and no variances were required. All the buildings are in compliance. When zoning gave approval, there were no variances needed. And so there's no new variances that would be needed at all. Parking, you can see there's, from the photos, there's large open spaces, large gravel areas that are marked out on the site plan. The driveway leading back to the storage building is also compacted gravel. It's about a 40-foot concrete apron at the front of the road. But again, there's just a handful of employees that would leave their cars there during the day while they're out, concrete trucks, and there's more than ample space.
Are the cars parked between the buildings or back behind where the forms are?
Between.
Between,
In between.
Yep.
In between.
That's usually where the parking of the cars happen.
yes, yep. Um,
That would be basically then identified as the employee parking area.
right here, yep. It right now says existing gravel drive, but
Right.
yeah, they park there. Sometimes in the wintertime, I'm imagining they park their trucks inside while they're out in the field
Mhm.
and then switch them out when they come home. But yeah,
If we could just go back a minute, you mentioned that no noise producing maintenance or cleaning or washing of any kind will occur. So this includes like the cleaning off of forms and stuff that had been done previously in
it
these?
does. That was
locations?
one of the items we talked about last time we were here. Honestly, a big part of the reason while this property became sort of on the radar was Mr. Capaccio's employees in a, you know, probably a mistaken time, actually pounded the concrete off and washed off all the concrete forms in like February in the wintertime, and it made quite a racket. And one of the neighbors complained. And so we definitely committed not to do that ever again. That was a mistake.
Okay.
We recognized that that probably was disruptive to the neighborhood and wasn't necessarily being the greatest neighbor, making that noise on that one particular
Mhm,
morning.
mhm.
That has not occurred since then. It's been a couple years ago that happened. As a matter of fact, you know, leading up to this preliminary meeting, I sent notices to every neighbor asking for their feedback. We reserved the public hall last month and had a public, you know, opportunity for the neighbors to come in. We heard from 4 folks, all in support of this rezoning. We didn't even hear one person who complained to us about anything. The only thing we've heard is from the zoning officer who told us about the
Mhm.
time 2 years ago when the neighbor complained, and that activity is not ever gonna happen, and we're trying to make sure that that's outlined very clearly for folks that other than a truck pulling out and pulling in, there should be no impact to the neighbors.
Okay.
Do you have the names of the people that were,
I don't have them with me here, but yes, I do. I have the names of the people who came to the meeting, and 2 of them contacted me personally. We were hopeful, you know, if there were neighbors that had issues or complaints, we wanted to be able to respond to those or do whatever it is that we needed to do to be a good neighbor.
good, one small thing in that same paragraph. No noise producing or disruptive maintenance or cleaning or washing of any kind will occur outside.
That's correct. There is maintenance and cleaning that goes on inside the
Inside.
buildings.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the things that he does in there is work on the trucks or
I gotta clean the truck once in a while.
yeah, but it's inside. We're not gonna be doing anything outside where the neighbors would be disrupted.
But the concrete forms would not be cleaned inside.
No,
No,
no. They just occasionally have to work on one of the trucks or something inside the garage there. oil changes, whatever, whatever other maintenance they may do. So I just didn't want to, I wanted to be clear that we weren't saying
So there may be some truck or equipment maintenance occurring inside the building.
inside the building. That it would not disrupt or produce any noise that would be audible to neighbors.
The restroom facilities, those are basically just porta johns or
No, there's an actual restroom
No, I have a
inside the
restroom.
building.
showers and everything for the men.
I have one shower, yes. Never been used, but I have one shower.
It's there.
Maybe you should turn the hot water on.
Um. Yes, so we left off at parking.
Mhm.
Landscape buffering and stormwater, I've tried to, again, give you the plan for the septic and all the other drainage issues. And I've tried to include a number of photos to demonstrate the various landscaping and buffers that exist. And, the lot is fenced off. You can see, as you drive into the lot, there's substantial buffering that's for the houses that are aligned off of, I believe that would be Harlem Road. Or Miller Ball.
Miller Ball.
Yeah, Miller Ball. You can hear some other photos. You can see you guys have them all here. But essentially there's rock barriers, there's, pine trees planted all the way down, along the rear of the yard. And you can see from the photos, this photo is a good picture to show you. All of those Miller Paul houses are on the other side of all this, height and vegetation. Pretty much all of this area is screened from any of the houses. You have to go to the rear, very, 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 very far rear of the property before you would have any view of any of the houses that are on Miller Paul.
And all you've got back there are sheep.
All that's back there are 4 sheep.
Yeah, it's expensive sheep.
Well, keep going, sorry.
Yeah, if you have any questions, that's fine. It's approximately 8 to 10 feet high mound with the screening on top of that, screening all the residential properties to the east. I've listed the existing stormwater drains that were approved and the plans that are attached in here.
I don't know that I'm missing the stormwater plan.
Well, there isn't a stormwater plan per se. It was approved on this plan. This plan.
Oh, so it's on the larger format.
Yeah, it's a larger, there.
So I guess.
It shows all the septic and all the drainage and all that.
Right, one thing that I would like to see, and if it's on here, I don't see it. Is that the stormwater drainage, not the septic, but the stormwater drainage. That the barriers that you've built to buffer the property don't interfere with the stormwater.
Yeah, those already existed when you bought the
Yeah, it was
property,
there before I
but,
bought
but
it.
I can look at the history and see if I can
I
find.
guess I would just like, where's the flow?
Yeah.
30, yeah,
1028.
right.
Because everything into Central Village.
So the flow is towards Center Village Road from the north to the south, there's no drainage from east to west.
There's a giant stormwater drain that collects the stormwater that drains before.
But that's
that.
out by the road or is
No,
that?
no, it's shown on the site plan, I thought. Let me see. Yeah, the it's not. I apologize. It is not shown on the site plan, but the stormwater drain is directly to the right of the existing pole barn building that was built back in the 80s. So if you just look to the right of the existing pole barn building on the site plan, before you get to the trees and the hump, there's a giant stormwater there that collects all of the stormwater. But I can get stormwater plans, I'm sure, from the county to show what that drain is and how the property drains.
And then all the drainage that you've just mentioned then all flows towards Center Village Road.
From the catch base.
The catch basins.
Yeah, the big catch, yes, the water goes
But it's not a buried storm drain. It's surface drainage.
That is correct. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're asking me. Is there a sub,
If there's an inlet, that inlet's gotta go to a pipe and then the pipe goes to the road.
Go underneath, all the way to the ditch.
Yeah, so there's gotta be a pipe somewhere that will
There
take it
is.
take it to the street.
So is that,
That's
really kind of the
that's
same
what's not
question.
shown.
There is a pipe then that goes from
there is.
It's 80-inch pipe, yes.
10 inch.
8.
Oh, 8, and it goes out to Center Village Road. To the ditch.
And we can get some information on that drainage. Like I said, that wasn't something. That wasn't something new that's been put in, but
It's a concern because you're either, there are existing buffers or you're planning on increasing the amount of buffers.
I got you.
And
Makes
I
sense.
just want to make sure we don't start one problem.
Cause a problem with drainage. I
Plus
mean,
you
there does not appear to be any problems now, but I hear what you're saying.
probably got grates in the floor, like drains in the floor inside the building that would drain somewhere. If you're washing trucks and stuff in there, that goes to a drain, then the drain goes to a
Yeah.
pipe that goes to the.
Whatever drainage there is, we can get the plans for that.
or
The
does that-
county
or
would
does
have
that
had to
go
approve
to
that.
to your septic? Or like an oil water separator or something, because if
Yeah.
you're washing trucks, you don't want that going to the street.
For sure. Well, I made a note of that and I'll get whatever I can get from the county as far as the drainage. Security, the property's monitored with security cameras around the primary storage building. The heavy duty security gate and fencing at the entrance to the property that restricts access. There are 2 primary security lights on the exterior of the primary storage building that face downward. Lighting the areas around the buildings. One's on the east side, another one's on the south side of the building.
And those security cameras record.
Yep. Again, it said a design of the proposed open space. There's nothing really, I believe that's talking about green space and that type of thing. I mean, that's not really applicable in a neighborhood. So there's no common open space, so to speak. There are no signs on the property. There's no new signs that are being proposed. You know, in terms of materials and colors being submitted for approval, I mean, it's already built. There's no, I mean, they've been there since 2019, so no new structures. Signs with specific renderings about there, again, there's no signs. Proposed lighting, I mentioned those already.
One question on that, automatic dusk to dawn security lights.
They are,
Going back to the hours of operation, the morning is 6 to 8. Does that vary depending on sunrise or you sometimes you're running trucks when it's dark? And
no, in the wintertime, when it's
Yeah.
dark a lot earlier, they're not really pouring concrete as much, so they can afford to start a little later.
okay, so you would think that the hours of operation are more or less daylight hours, not nighttime hours.
That is
I mean,
Night we do nothing.
right.
Yeah, nobody
That's
there.
correct. The 6 to 8 is, you know, when it's daylight at 6 AM, they're getting started earlier. When it's not daylight until 8 AM, they're getting started later. So that's a good way of putting it is that it's daylight hours.
I have a quick question before we go on. Are we gonna go back through this and add commentary? 'Cause I have like,
You should be doing it now.
oh,
And since we're going through the steps, you can comment at any time.
I thought he was
Yeah.
just summarizing first
Well,
and then we
We
would go
started out
back.
that way, but I think we started, making input, so you can go ahead and do it now. If there's things that go back to the beginning, then we can go back and go through that.
Yeah, I'll take whatever notes you have.
Okay, well, in the interest of not, I'd rather you continue on before I give
Oh,
all
that's
my
fine. Yeah, we
commentary.
can
So
go all
let's
the way
continue
through.
summarizing and then I will go back and.
It's fine to make
Provide.
comments now or ask questions for
Okay.
clarification.
Thank you.
So yeah, there's no proposed bikeways or walkways. no new construction or development currently, as I talked about under landscaping. The property includes the buffering that has landscaping, trees and fencing surrounding the outside of the parcel. On the east side of the property also includes that 8 to 10 foot mound screening it from the residential properties to the east. There are no mailboxes, no in terms of the water supply sewage, that's already, as I said, was already approved. I attached the plans that show the sanitary septic system that exists there.
So with it, excuse me, but with the office in the building, is there a mailbox out by the road or
Yeah, not road, not road.
one mailbox out by the road?
Just like, yeah, just a normal. mailbox,
like a
No
normal.
cluster of mailboxes. Um. Again, you asked about the surface drainage, so I already made a note of that, and I'll see if I can get some additional information on surface drainage. I have spoken with Township Fire. They'll provide whatever, if that's required. They have sufficient capacity, have no problem serving the property, and will provide such documentation if that's what we need.
So they're okay with the access?
They are. Yep, I've spoken with them already. I don't have a letter to attach here, but if that's something that we need to provide, we will definitely provide that. You know, again, usually with a large development, you might be dealing with traffic impact analysis and traffic studies and traffic access, that type of thing. I mean, with this request, as I said, there's one controlled entrance off Center Village Road, approximately a 40-foot apron there, heavy security gate, restricts access. There's a handful of employees who park their cars there during the day. And then, you know, half a dozen trucks or so that come in and out at the beginning and at the end of the day. There's really no traffic impact to speak of by this proposed use.
So when the trucks are leaving the site, some might be turning right, some might be turning left. Depending
Yes,
on
yeah.
where they're ending up.
Yeah, depends on the job, yeah.
Do they get staged or they just all leave at the same time?
No, someone, they just stay there. Maybe like today, just 2 truck walks. So it's not like all 6 trucks.
Right. Right. But if
Yeah.
you're busy and let's say you have 6 trucks running, would they all leave within 2 or 3 minutes,
No.
one right after the other, or
Someone will leave. Usually leave on the morning, but I have spare trucks. That's why there are 6 trucks, but I don't use all 6 on the same times.
The
Because
most you might use 4 trucks in a given day.
yes.
and
At
these,
the most.
and these are,
If someone breaks, I need to have a
you need a spare.
spare one.
Yes. And these are pumpers, not just mixers.
Yeah, pump, but a crane. To
I think there's a
grab the
picture of
panels,
one.
and then I have the gravel truck for the shoot the gravel.
This shows what the truck looks like right there.
Yeah, this is the pump one.
Yeah, that pumper truck, and
Yep.
then you have other trucks for the forms.
Exactly.
They're
That's correct.
flatbeds.
And then
basically.
for the
You've seen those trucks going down the road probably before.
And they have a slingers for the gravel to shoot the.
Yep.
The stone.
So you're not mixing concrete on site. You don't have mixer trucks. And that's not part of your plans.
No.
I mean, and yeah, maybe 2 trucks leave at the same time at the most, you know, and then 1 or 2 more later.
Depends on if the employee show up to work too.
Yeah, if they get there on time.
Sometimes they don't even come.
Because when there was a concrete plant in the township, it was zoned industrial, not commercial.
Yeah, this is definitely not that.
No.
No concrete here.
Okay.
Again, relationship of the proposed development to surrounding areas, given that during the timetable, well, there's nothing's being built new. Location of schools or parks or other facilities, those are marked on the attached map. There's 3 different facilities that are labeled. The timetable, nothing new's been constructed. So there is no timetable. ability for us to be, carrying forward with the plan. There's no there's no new development. So the rest of these really, there's no variances being asked for or needed whatsoever under T. No bonds and no safeguards for construction because all of this, that last page is pretty much geared towards new, new construction.
All right. Well, thank you for walking us through now.
I will say, if I can just add one more thing.
Oh, go
before we
ahead.
kind of go through, we have looked at the planning side of this. Mr. Capaccia's property is literally right on the border of,
Of area D and.
yeah,
Yes.
and, across the street would call for and call out the ability for commercial use. Obviously, you're getting closer to, uptown there, but he literally is on the very edge of, where those uses are recommended. So while planning, does not have the area plan recommending commercial use for this location, literally right across the street on the other side of Miller Paul switches to a different district. So.
All right. Let's go back to the zoning commission now in terms of going through the document. Additional questions, comments, Brittany, you obviously indicated earlier you had some
I
things that you
do.
wanted to bring up.
I have kind of, well, more of like a general comment. So I understand that the property is already being, or was already being used as something. And the only reason this is coming to us now, because there was an issue and there was a complaint and the zoning inspector said, hey, this isn't zoned properly for what you're using it for. And I think that's, that sentiment is illustrated throughout the development plan. But at this point, we're kind of starting off with it as this is a new development plan. So I don't know if all of that language in this plan is necessary to say, well, it's already being used like this. I more want to see it as this is what it's going to be used for, whether that's what it's being used for now or not. It needs to be worded as if this is a completely new implementation. Personally, that's what I am looking for. So maybe in
Well,
some
we can't
cases,
really
maybe,
fabricate that.
well, I'm not saying
reality is-
fabricate it, but I'm saying, I
Basically, if I understand, I think what
Mhm.
maybe Brittany's describing is rather than stating it as this is a use that has happened in the past and we wanted to continue it. So it sounds like just eliminate what's happened in the past and just talk about what it is that the property will be used for.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So
Yeah.
just so for my own clarification, so I get this right, like when it says the relationship of the proposed development to other probable uses during the development timetable, how else would I say? I mean, there is no development. So how can I respond to that without saying there's no development?
There's no future development.
Yeah, like
plan.
the entirety of this last page says what she's suggesting I don't say.
I see what you're saying.
Because the,
Well, but you start out by saying the applicant is requesting to continue to use. Then what this use of the property is you would just describe without talking about what's happened with it in the past in this paragraph. Describe what it is that Mr. Capaccio wants to continue, what wants to do on the property.
I got you.
That's
Yeah.
Some of these
It's
earlier.
a nuance
in
of the
some of the
difference.
earlier bullets is what you're suggesting is maybe in some of these earlier bullets,
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
pretend as if the property doesn't exist yet.
Well,
Or at least explain in more detail what actually goes on.
so
Because this will become, if it were to be approved, it would become the controlling document.
For
in
sure.
terms of what it is that could be done on the property.
Yeah,
And-
I assumed that all that could be done on the property if we switch this to a planned district is what is said in here.
That is correct.
Right.
So, I mean, we tried to be as detailed as we possibly could.
What I think, could be done is, as I said, you eliminate the references to past usage and just describe it as a usage for the property. That's how it will be used,
Okay.
without making direct reference back to the fact that it has been used that way. If you want to go that route, then go get a variance.
Mhm.
Because then you're trying to provide the documentation to say that this is a use that has existed and we want to continue to use it that way. That's the difference.
Yeah, it's almost like this document is kind of written both ways. We've got this existing use that we want to continue to use. So take that under consideration. And then here's the plan that says how we're going to continue to use it. The way I was hoping this would read is, like if you had submitted this plan in 2019, like this is the plan that should have been submitted in 2019 before you built the big structure. It said, we're going to build a 5,000 square foot structure and we're going to use it to store all this equipment. We're going to have 4 to 6 trucks. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That's the plan. Then we would have been able to review that plan and make a decision then.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm hearing is, and that's a small tweak to this, is you're just trying to, from a language standpoint, you're trying to have it read as if this is being proposed for the first time. And-
The fact that it's been being used in a manner that didn't fit the zoning code is not something you really want to push. You know?
But Joni, I think we're trying to straddle, we're trying to straddle two situations. One, then in 2019, the zoning was not the same as it is now. And it was before the comprehensive plan was put in place. So there was no,
We still had a comprehensive plan, and it did allow for planned commercial districts.
it allowed for commercial use anywhere in the township.
That is correct.
A planned commercial
I
use.
don't know, it was planned.
It is
Yes, had to be
specifically
planned.
I'd like to
planned.
see that, and I'd like to see that referenced
I
in.
could show that to you.
Good, I'd like to see that referenced in here, that it was a legitimate use as a planned.
No.
commercial-
It
It
wasn't
wasn't
a
because it was
planned
never.
use. It was not,
It was never applied for,
right.
okay.
Yeah,
but-
that's it.
Okay.
So it was existing as an AR1 property, And they were
until-
not
And it's
doing-
still AR1.
and they were not doing AR1 uses.
Yeah, and the
Everybody-
challenge we all have here is, if we kind of step aside from
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is, yeah, I mean, it was AR1, but the previous owner had the building that you see the pictures of here, was storing his commercial trucks and business trucks in that building.
This was not Anderson, but before Anderson.
Yes, and when Mr. Capaccia bought the property, that's how it was being used. And yes, he needed more storage. And he came here to get approval to build this building for more.
Came to the
I mean, this is
zoning.
clearly not, there's no house on the property.
Yeah, well, he came to the zoning inspector. He did not
He
come to
did.
the zoning commission.
Not you here, meaning geographically.
But I
He
don't,
came to the zoning inspector at the time who approved this building. And it went to Delaware County and this building was built.
see, I don't know that for a parcel of that size, you could have gotten a building permit in Delaware with no zoning. Nothing.
But we didn't, or he didn't.
I mean, I don't, maybe you should try to dig that up, that there was. that
Yeah,
kind of
I've
zone.
already confirmed that with Delaware County. They did have zoning approval from the township.
Show us what you were able to find. Because at Delaware County, they really don't do the zoning, they do the building permit. And I don't know that with a parcel of 6+ acres, anybody there would have gone for zoning, because you
wouldn't have needed it.
to do an agricultural building, you didn't need
No.
zoning.
At the time.
He just
There
needs
were
a
lots of
permit.
people who weren't doing zoning approval by claiming it was an exempt building.
It was agricultural.
But,
You claim back.
and in that case, Delaware County would not even issue building permits for that. You would just be exempt. But if you wanted to get a building permit from Delaware County, you had to have zoning approval. Delaware County would not give you zoning approval. I live in this township. I had the same thing. I could not build my pole barn without zoning approval. Delaware County will not give you a permit without zoning approval unless you claim an exemption.
But the zoning approval is just setback and that sort of thing. It's not there's not a use attached to that zone. It's not an approval for. it's an
In this case, it
acceptable-
was approved as an accessory structure.
Exactly.
By
Right,
the
so
zoning
it
commission,
wasn't
by the
approved
zoning
as- It
inspector.
wasn't approved as a commercial structure.
It was not approved by
as a
the use of a
pole barn.
commercial, you are
It's
correct.
cited correctly, it's got the setbacks and it's
The access.
it's that part of the development standards, not.
It was
not the
not,
use.
yeah,
There's
it
no
was
use
not
at all.
proposed to be a commercial.
Right.
It was storage. It was storage of his business trucks, just like the previous owner was storing his business trucks. So I think that there's wasn't, I'm only saying all this to say, you know, there was no intent here to circumvent or use the property, you know, in contravening the zoning code or zoning. He came to the inspector, asked for approval, had the blueprints and the drawings, got approval, went to the county, got all the inspections, installed the septic. Like, I think what we're all, you know, grappling with is he's been operating this way for 6 years. There was certainly an incident that occurred that became a nuisance to the neighbors that he feels, you know, regretful for and wouldn't do that anymore. But the reason we're here with this as a solution instead of a variance is, again, in talking with Mike, the zoning, chief zoning inspector, this was his suggestion on how to proceed and the most likely way to, you know, get approval to continue to use the property this way. But we're open to other suggestions on how to
Well,
best, you know,
A
on how to
variance,
best deal with where we're at.
a variance would go through the Board of Zoning Appeals. A variance in terms of the use. Because of being not, has been used in the past, and it's, I guess, currently essentially being used. And it's a non-conforming use. Even when the previous owner had it, that use that owner made of the property was
Was storing
essentially
his
a
business trucks.
non-conforming use.
It was,
Um, so while it had been there and operated that way, if it was, I don't know when it started, but if it started before November of 1988,
it did.
then it was exempt as a use at that point in time. The use could continue,
In the
but it would
city, yeah.
continue as a non-conforming
In the
use.
city of Columbus, that's exactly where I posted. That's how we would handle it. This would be a non-conforming use. Mike at the time felt strongly, maybe incorrectly, that non-conforming uses couldn't move from one owner to a new owner. And so he felt very, very strong about our ability to claim a
Yes,
non-conforming
I
use.
understand that, but I think that the BZA has altered that position.
I think that is correct.
Well, but then you doubled the size of that use, or maybe what, triple.
You
So
increase
you
the
in-
use.
You
You
definitely
increase the
increased that
non-conforming use, which
You made it bigger.
technically the code says you're not supposed to increase the non-conforming use except with approval. And
Correct.
so, you know, in this case, the time to object to that expansion of the non-conforming use would have been when he was, you know, proposing to build this new storage, and that didn't happen. And so, you know, one would argue that that non-conforming use expansion was approved through zoning.
Approved by the zoning inspector.
It was,
Essentially.
yes, it
Or,
was.
or by omission.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
The structure was
yeah,
approved,
and
but the
two-
use wasn't.
Well, the
small-
zoning inspector, I know him pretty well. He remembers approving this, so.
Was this, who was the zoning inspector?
Matt,
Matt Kurz,
Okay,
right?
absolutely.
okay. The auditor's website shows the original pole barn was built in 1988. Which was either before or after zoning was in limbo in the township.
It was built in the summer of 88. The township zoning resolution became effective in November of 88.
But
I believe it was built in 82, but I am aware of what the auditor's website says.
But you still, I mean, so you're saying if it was built, you're saying it was built in the summer of 88, so it's still.
I don't know when it was built. I'm
Oh.
just saying that if it were built
it-
then, it preceded zoning.
Okay, And you're saying it was built even before that?
I do believe that it was built in 1982, but I'd have to really dig deep to prove that.
What we're talking about is not just the building, but then the use. If the previous owner was using the property that way.
Yes,
But now we're talking about that from the point of view of it being a non-conforming use that you would want to.
that I would
continue.
want to continue. And I do agree with your sentiments that I think things have changed a little bit because of some other, properties and some other issues around the township. And I do think, honestly, I'm not foreclosing the notion that maybe doing BZA and having a variance to, validate this non-conforming use being continued is probably not a bad idea. Maybe even do that first, and then if that fails, come back and rezone the property.
That's certainly an option, yes. But if the documentation's there that the use existed, then, as I said, I know that there's been
Some discussion around that topic.
discussion around that point, and the BZA has basically confirmed that the property or the use, the non-conforming use, can pass
Yes,
to a new owner. And I understand that was previously not Mike's position.
yes,
And that's because, to some extent, that was an interpretation, of course, that he was making. But it wasn't taken to the BZA for consideration until after they started this process, and then they backed up and they went the BZA route.
right.
The other property that I think
Across
we're
the
talking
way.
about the same property
Yeah.
that's across the street.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, so the transfer history that's shown on the auditor's website only goes back to 1990 is the last transfer. So you'd have to dig through the recorders
Yes,
to get who owned the property before then, when the barn was built in
yeah, whenever it was built.
1988.
Yes.
And are there still building permits dating back that far?
Then they're not gonna have copies of anything, but they have records of what was applied for.
All right, so at least there might be some,
I think it's possible for me to document I think I would have no problem documenting the existence of the barn that was being used to store trucks before Mr. Cavaccio bought it before 1988. When November of 1988, when the new zoning resolution was passed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's,
So it was never an agricultural building.
No, there was never a farm or a house. There's never an AR use. There's never been a house on that lot, ever. There's some sheep now.
Except for the
There's 4
sheep now.
There's 4 sheep on the property. That is correct. Yeah, it's never been used for,
well, it is right now. He's using it for agricultural purposes in the sense of he's got 4 sheep on the property.
yes, that is true.
The chickens too, right?
Don't discount
Some
chickens.
chickens.
Oh, chicken.
Don't sleep on the chicken.
Yeah. I think most people would believe that, yeah, it's an existing use that he's been using, and maybe in 2019. Someone should have said before he built this
That's the reason why I
building.
bought it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, he would never have bought the property if, obviously you can see what'd you spend on that building?
600.
Huh?
600.
Yeah, so,
no, I'm sure it wasn't cheap.
Hmm.
Okay.
So I guess what we're faced with is saying, is it legitimate? Put down a planned commercial district where we would have some control over the hours of operation, lighting, the landscaping, the noise, the employees, basically everything that's in that document, or simply let you go in a different direction and take it as a non-conforming use, an existing non-conforming use.
I mean, that seems to make the most sense to me as we go the non-conforming use route. See if some of the ways of thinking have changed and see if we're successful. And of course, if you're not successful in allowing this as a non-conforming use, then you're gonna have to get the use approved some other way, which would be to rezone the property. And
Correct.
come back to here. And I appreciate where you're coming from, that we're in two worlds. In one world, I'm saying all this exists and there's nothing new proposed. And on the other hand, then that's a non-conforming use. So maybe we go that route first, and if not, then we'll treat this, as you said, I'll take all your suggestions and treat this as a new development. And we'll try that route.
But we're already here. Do we want to finish?
Yeah, if you have
reviewing
other
it?
comments,
So
I'll
at
take
least-
them.
Well, no, I
You're
think,
prepared?
that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That the information that we can share with you would be potentially valuable in the future.
yes,
So, yes.
yeah. Any other
I'd say
comments?
The answer to the
Yeah.
question Brittany is
I
asking.
have a
helpful.
couple more.
Okay.
I wanted to ask about the hours of operation. So I'm just thinking in terms of, we want it to be specific enough that it doesn't create disruption to surrounding properties, but we also don't want it to be too specific that it limits you from running your business. So I didn't know if it made sense to maybe generalize your hours of operation a little bit more, like a 6 to 5 PM or something like that, just so it's not like you can only come in and out for 2 hours and you
I
can
got you.
only, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else on the commission has objections to that, but as a business owner, I don't want you to be unnecessarily limited.
I
So-
appreciate that. I think we're
thoughts?
trying to call out that generally speaking, trucks aren't driving in and out of there all day.
Yeah,
There's a couple that leave in the morning and they come back in the afternoon and that's it.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing for the neighbors to know.
Yeah.
Would it be something like no earlier than 6 AM and no later than 5 PM?
or something.
Well, I mean,
like that.
just bracket it like.
Yeah, just more bracket it.
We can still
I
use
don't have-
language like it generally,
Mhm.
or something to that. effect.
I don't have.
I liked the fact that you talked about the difference between summer and winter and using daylight hours for your
Yes.
your business hours.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you have to take out what you have, but maybe, your standard hours of operation are X to X.
Right.
But trucks generally are leaving, just, that's
Sounds
fine.
good.
Also, if you could put. Are any trucks gonna be coming or going potentially like outside of normal business hours, like in an emergency situation or somebody gets broken down?
It
like,
can
you know
happen.
what I'm saying?
Sure, it can happen.
I would like to see something, maybe add in, like if trucks are coming and going outside of normal business hours in an emergency situation, to limit the noise
Okay.
to, I think we've said like 60 decibels or something like that, like, so there's not unnecessary noise outside of business hours.
On the business hour thing, that the driveway is about 230 feet from the beginning of that school zone.
Mhm.
So what time from a school, what time do the school zone start flashing? The road, the
Oh, I don't know what
That
time they
varies.
start. Usually they end up starting them, half hour, 45 minutes before, whatever the start time for school is. Maybe as much as an hour.
To when the bus.
I don't know. It's an elementary school, so,
Like 8:30.
because they definitely have them start whenever before the first bus is going to arrive.
Is the school zone on Miller Paul or on
it's on
Center
Center Village.
Village?
Well, no, the entrance to the school is on Miller Fall.
But the zone, there's a school zone.
There's
on
a school
Center
zone on
Village.
Center Village.
And
Yeah,
his
that's the one
driveway
you're
is about
speaking of.
230 feet from the
Yeah,
beginning
okay.
of that school zone. So I think there should be some. I don't know how you avoid, if your trucks are leaving at 8 o'clock and the school zone's flashing and you got buses coming through and trucks trying to turn left. It just could cause,
I can look at the school zone schedule. I mean, again, it's probably two trucks, but yeah, I understand what you're
It's not
saying.
gonna happen on any road, though.
could, but.
Yeah.
The more.
It just
big-
means they
big
gotta
truck you have.
go slower.
Yeah.
When the lights are flashing, you go slower.
8:30.
Well, the other thing-
Or opens at 8:30.
Oh, so 6 to 8, they're already out
Yeah,
before.
I'm sorry, what time did they?
Tijuana Elementary it says opens at 8:30, so probably I would say kids arrive at 8:30, school starts at 9. I was thinking that too, because that's when the preschool starts
Yeah.
around that time too. So
So they would-
8:30, 9-ish.
Yeah.
So buses maybe 7:45, 8:30. If the doors open at 8:30, they won't get there much earlier than
Now, the
that.
bus would not be arriving before school actually opens.
Yeah, they'll arrive like 10, 15 minutes early if
And it's
they
not,
get there
kids aren't
early.
walking in at this point because there's no sidewalks, but the future that could happen.
Yeah.
Mr. Capaccia he has to leave, but I'm gonna stay and finish getting the comments, if that's okay.
Sure.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, thanks.
I got it.
All right, well, thank you for coming, though.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Anything else on hours of operation before I carry on? Okay. Just in setbacks, if we could either, it says something about shown on the site plan, but there's not a lot of clear measurement of like the setbacks and things, if you could maybe just,
All of those
Detail
are
on
required in the survey.
okay,
Mhm.
The survey actually requires us to not only show the boundaries, but distance of buildings, and it's a pretty comprehensive survey.
okay, so that would
So
include.
if we were to
that.
move forward with an application, we
and
would
that's
have all of
why
that.
he indicated that they
Okay,
have put off having that done.
We have,
okay,
Mhm.
But it's a good thing to point it out.
it is. I've
Yeah.
got, that's a good.
just want to
Yeah.
make sure that that's clearly outlined if you do submit something. Also with the parking, could you identify that on the site plan?
I'll change it
Clearly.
for these comments. I'm actually gonna revise the site plan. I hand wrote in those couple of things
Yeah.
from our last meeting that I will have the architect redo the whole site plan.
Nope, that's no problem. And then landscaping, could you throw something in there in relation to the maintenance of the landscaping, landscaping will be,
Maintained. Yep.
maintained, free of weeds, what have you.
Yep.
However, you-
Dead trees replaced.
yeah, like, dead trees replaced. Whatever you think is nice there.
Perfect.
In security, it mentions there is some, lighting. Which there's not, is there a specific lighting section? No.
No.
No, okay. I didn't think so. I was like making sure I didn't miss it. It does say something here about lighting. If we could, confirm or put somewhere in here that the lighting is, shielded to eliminate being cast on any neighboring property.
Yep.
And did you?
All the lighting shines downward, but
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, that's a
That's
simple
okay.
statement. I had the same question about the lighting as well. So
Okay,
I think it,
Yeah.
to make sure that it doesn't spill over onto the neighbors.
To the neighbor's
neighboring
property. Correct.
and is that, I think you mentioned something about that. Is that motion activated or is that always on? The
The-
lighting,
It's always on. It's
Okay.
Dusk
the
to
lighting
dawn.
is dusk to dawn.
dusk to dawn, okay.
Auto dusk to dawn. It kicks on at night and kicks off in the morning.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so.
So it's
actually-
on all night. It's
midnight.
security lighting. It's not disruptive to the neighbors, but I can clarify that.
Okay.
And since they're in the intent and the description of the plan, there's no intent for work to be done around the property after dark.
None.
So the lighting would not need to be,
Security lighting.
yeah, it's just for security purposes. It's not for the purpose of allowing people to work.
Sure.
Correct?
And there is, so you say proposed open space. I think there is some open space though, right? With the pasture field area, is that considered open?
You,
space?
okay, where have you skipped to?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, I'm just,
No, I'm on D. Oh.
well, we were talking about
Oh.
a design of proposed open space and description. Now, that's what you're
Oh,
talking
secure,
about.
I just
Yeah.
went
Okay,
to the
that's
next
fine,
page.
that's fine.
Sorry.
Because it says not applicable. I've
Yeah,
got this, I have a note about the same thing. So
Which
go
one are
ahead.
we on?
We're in the, we're in the right place.
so on the next
D.
page, D, a design.
D
of the
that says
proposed
open space and a
Uh-huh.
description of use and maintenance.
Yeah,
I guess in the normal architectural world of open space, that's usually
Yeah.
like when someone's building a subdivision or a development. they
Yes,
need To call out their quote, open space.
well, in this case,
On a private lot, I guess I didn't realize that was.
it wouldn't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to be referring to it as open space, but it is, there is space back there. And I guess my question was, if the intent is for that that area to remain that way and to be continued to be used that way, then that should be described.
Even if it's just pasture land.
If it's pasture land, it's, you talk about on the drawing, you've got wire fence showing, so that means that it's set up to contain some kind of farm animals probably.
Gotcha.
In this case, it's got sheep.
Yep, I got you.
So I'm just saying in terms of a description, that that would be a description. And this was a place where it could fit. That's what I thought of it
I
when I
think
read
that
that.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are pasture areas identified and earmarked, and there's a great deal of space in the front that's unused, and calling out what that's for.
Right, that's what I'm saying, same
Yeah.
thing.
And
And
how it will be
undeveloped.
Yeah.
maintained too.
Yeah, and then it's the
Remain
maintenance
undeveloped.
thing.
Yeah, and of course, if we were successful and we end up going this route, we wouldn't be able to add anything without permission anyway.
Well, but that was what I would, if you go this route as a planned district,
No, he's very limited.
then you're basically saying the two buildings on the site now are all we will have.
Yep.
And we will leave the rest of it open.
3 buildings.
If-
I mean, the
Plus a
downside of a rezoning is yeah, you're
That becomes the
basically
zoning.
putting a hamper on the property. That
Right.
this is how it has to be used from this point forward.
And if you go through the BZA,
Even if you sell the property, that person's gonna have to rezone if they wanna use it.
If they want to do something
They wanna
different.
build a house
They wanna
or
find
whatever
a
they
home.
wanna do, whereas if you get the non-conforming use, it's a little different, so.
but if you go through the BZA and you get a non-conforming use, and I don't know that you have the same restrictions, which from my point of view is not as good for the township. That if somebody,
would
let's say
agree with that.
Mike moves on and somebody buys it and says, look at all these great buildings, I'm gonna build a third building and a fourth building and store all,
Yeah.
a ton of equipment here.
No, the BZA can in fact put those kinds of restrictions on.
On the.
That
video.
if in fact they put those restrictions on, then the new property owner couldn't do that.
They could grant-
Or
they could grant a
the other
variance.
possibility
Has-
is they say that the transfer of the use does not go with the land.
Yeah.
They can put that into their decision. So yes,
Moving forward.
so Mr. Capaccio could continue using it. But if he sells it, the next person buying it could not even use it the way he has.
Well,
If they wanted to
BZA
put that restriction on, they could,
If they wanted to, or if they said, don't make it any bigger than it is now,
right?
They can
since
do
you're
both.
in a residential
They could
area.
do that as well.
They could do.
They
both.
can do that as well. The BZA has the ability to do that.
What the
Yes.
BZA couldn't do, as I understand it, is restrict him from using the property in accordance with the way it's currently zoned. So,
Correct.
if he wanted to build a house on the property, he could do that as long as he didn't need any variances because the zoning allows for a house on the property.
He could do anything that AR.
He could do anything that an AR1 could do, but any use that's contradictory to an AR1, as his existing use is, would have to be codified, and you are correct, could be limited in numerous ways.
Right.
But the advantage to him would be, and not necessarily to the township, but to Mr. Capaccio, would be that he would maintain the AR uses that are allowed currently. Whereas in this rezoning, he would not.
Correct.
Well, I was gonna ask a question about those current like agricultural uses, like with the sheep and stuff and the pasture land. If he gets the PCD approved or submits a PCD, can he still have that stuff? Can he
No.
have the
Well,
storage?
depends.
It would have to be a
and-
part of this plan.
It has,
Yeah,
It has to be
Yes.
detailed.
I have no
in the plan.
idea whether he
Okay.
intends to maintain the 4 sheep
Okay.
if we were successful in this, or I
Okay.
know he's got them there now.
Well, that was gonna be something I wanted to call out is
I'm
if
glad,
he
yeah.
does wanna keep
If he wants
those,
to
probably
keep the
wanna add
sheep
that
and the
in.
chickens, that's gonna have to be in here.
I mean, cause we don't
Because
mind.
right now I say that that's
agricultural
a,
use.
could be
I
that
think I've
hard.
told you guys that's a vacant storage building. He's not using it.
Yeah.
But since we've started this, he's been having some sheep there, so.
Well, and you also wondered, does he want to use that building or does he have the potential for using it for storage or something? If those are possibilities, you probably also want to build that
They would
in.
need to be in this plan. I agree.
I just don't want him to be unnecessarily limited because he wasn't thinking of what he might potentially do with.
Yeah, and I've explained to
It's
him
already there.
though, that I mean, the reality is he would just have to come back here.
Mhm.
Anytime you have a development plan, if you want to tweak it, if you want to change your hours or you want to add another truck or a chicken,
Yeah.
you can come back here and amend your development plan.
Exactly.
But I would rather have everything that he's using it for now identified in here. So if he's gonna maintain the sheep, I will put it in here.
And I did describing that and then the maintenance of that area.
That's correct.
And I'm sorry, just switch it back to lighting again. Can you identify where the lighting is gonna be located on the site plan as well? You don't have to tell me now.
Yeah,
Just add that to the site plan.
Oh, thank you, Brittany, because I had made a note about that also.
Good, okay. I'm not crazy.
And we skipped
Well, I
over.
don't know about that.
That's debatable. Okay, all right, can I move, everybody okay if I move on to E? The
Mhm.
architectural design criteria. I know the buildings are already there. Do we maybe want to summarize the character or the characteristics of those buildings somehow?
Yeah, and then you can utilize the pictures.
The pictures too, but just to maybe summarize the characteristics in the plan would be good, because I don't know if the pictures necessarily go with the plan, or do they?
Yes.
They
the
do,
pictures
okay.
Can be included as exhibits.
Okay, so
That they
maybe
Describe the building.
describe it and reference.
And then you got
exhibit.
the
no
picture
problem.
as a reference, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, oh, there is proposed lighting shall include control procedures. So that F seems to also have something in relation to lighting.
It does.
So I don't know if we want to
One's
include.
on the east side, one's on the south.
Well, your
yeah.
same comment, I got it.
Yeah, comment to, same comment about impact to neighboring property. I don't have anything for G, surprisingly. Proposed landscaping, letter H. Could you add something in relation to the maintenance of the landscape? How that's going to be maintained?
Have that comment down.
Mailboxes. I didn't have anything else about the water supply and sewage. Did anybody have any more?
I have the comments about the stormwater and the
Mhm.
drainage.
Yeah, that specifically the drain that's in the shop. Where that goes,
Yeah,
it probably should either go to an oil water separator.
I'm sure it had to be approved by Delaware County. They inspected the facility, so,
But
And it can be
probably wanna
done.
know.
yeah,
We want to know where it goes.
yeah, I
Yeah,
got you.
and then when you do the draw, if you go that route, then you would do the drawings to reflect that.
Yeah.
The stormwater that gets to the street.
Yep.
Want to see that.
Yeah,
And then-
Columbus probably wants to know where that stormwater is.
I'm sure they do.
Something you said earlier about the fire department.
Yeah.
Made me just ask the question. He's got a gate that's locked.
He has a
I'm
security
assuming it's
gate.
locked, a security gate. So how does the fire department, do they have access code? Is that?
Yeah, I don't
something
know
that
the
they
answer
would
to
do?
that.
Cause that's a far way to get.
And I don't know if
They're
he
not gonna
closes
park
the
the truck in the
security gate
street
every
and-
night or how that works. I'll find out.
I
A lot
mean,
of times they have a knock box or
I
some
just don't
sort
know
of
how that
a,
works.
if there's a gate like that,
They would break it.
they would break it if they had
I
to.
hate that you do that. They'll, if they cannot get in the gate, they will bust the lock off the
Okay.
gate and they'll break it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'll talk to them about
And
that.
I was a firefighter, they had to do that.
Makes sense.
If
Yeah.
there is, if they're in an emergency and it's on fire, they will break down or ram through whatever is cutting off access.
Good.
I mean, it'd be nice if they didn't have to do that.
Good to know.
Because the repairs are costly.
Yes, yeah,
Those
but
trucks.
they will. I mean, they're getting access to that fire whether
He's
you.
probably, I would
like
imagine
they're
fire's not
open
gonna
or
be
not.
horribly concerned just because of the lack of activity that
Yeah,
happens.
the
when
repairs to
they're
the fire
vacant
trucks are
in
way
the evenings,
expensive.
so.
The building's alarmed, I assume.
There is a security system.
But as far as smoke and fire,
Probably not sprinkled.
It's not sprinkled, but there's smoke detection and alarms, yes.
I don't have anything else until O. Anybody before I go to O? And O, you mentioned some characteristics of the surrounding areas. I mean, I think even on the, what's it called? You have a map, you have an exhibit where it shows other neighboring businesses. Maybe you can list those here. Also, I think, was it mentioned something about
I mentioned
a
something about the
different-
plan.
the planned
Yeah, I can
district.
call that out.
Yeah, that would be good to
Yeah.
call out here as well. Location of schools and parks, I think you do have that on the attached, maybe. I don't know if you want to just summarize that, list the school here or make it some kind of exhibit would be fine.
Yes, that's one thing that I'd have as a kind of a general comment that at this point, you didn't identify any of these items as exhibits and make references to them in the document. But if you were to utilize them
No,
in
there's
a
this
plan, you would submit,
untitled map.
you would do that.
Yeah, no, I said see attached map, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will make them.
Make it like a-
I'll put the language in under the bullet
Yeah.
point and.
but by having
refer
them,
to the exhibit,
having them
Exhibit
labeled
C,
then
yeah.
to each item where it's appropriate.
I will
Yeah.
do so.
Cause I think the pictures are good. We like the pictures
Oh,
are
yeah, yeah.
helpful,
Right.
but maybe just formalize how they're referred to.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't know where it would have come under, but there's no storage of any hazardous materials, right?
Nope. Concrete forms. Tools. No hazard material at all.
And they don't
It's a
do
good
any-
point to call that
There's no
out. I
gas
think,
pumps.
I actually think you guys mentioned that in the first meeting and I
Okay.
neglected to call that out, so.
There's no
I-
gas pumps on site.
Yeah.
I will make sure that hazardous materials,
Okay.
if there aren't any, is called out.
And there aren't any gas pumps on site?
Joni?
Yeah.
You just can't take over the excuse. I have to excuse myself.
I wonder if that would make sense. Does that make sense? Putting like security or something? All right,
Not
or
quite
put
sure
that
where.
back there. Well, or you
I do.
don't fall off the edge.
I won't fall. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep going.
Okay, what else I got here? I don't have anything else for the rest of it. I'm good.
Really?
That's all me. That's all. I'm fresh out. Who else? What else?
No, I didn't have anything on the last page either. But you've gotten notes for everything we've
I
talked
do.
about tonight.
And
You can go back and watch the video too.
I can go back and watch the video, but I pretty much, most of your comments make perfect sense, so. Shouldn't be too challenging. I think it's just,
No. Couldn't be.
I'll have everything. on that.
I appreciate that.
Do you have any other questions for us? Do you want to know anything else about, what we're recommending? I mean,
I
we
don't
can't
think so. I
can't
mean,
commit to anything right now.
I know you can't commit to anything right now. I think, the only thing I guess that I would ask in terms maybe a process or how it kind of works with you guys is there's, obviously, when we have an actual application, you, notify the neighbors as we have in here. What is the role of the Delaware County Planning, team? Do they make a recommendation, a
Yes.
formal recommendation?
Yes.
And is there, do they just take care of that? Is there anything I need to do with the
Yes.
planning group?
Fine, take that over.
Yes,
Somebody
please.
sends it. Yes, so they have now come up with as of. I don't remember what month, it is $250. You'll pay that directly to Delaware. You can either pay that directly to Delaware or you can give me the check with your application. I will mail in and digitally send Stephanie Matlack, she's the one that does all of that for Delaware County. So I will submit that to her digitally and
The
also.
application?
Yeah, so when you send the application, that's why we need the 12.
Yep.
Because they'll go to them, I'll keep the ones for the trustees do PCDs go to trustees?
Mhm.
Okay, I know some things do, some things don't. And then I'll have the copies for trustees, and then I also need the copy for your packet that we keep here, and then one to actually send physically to Delaware County.
Okay.
So you can either pay them directly, I don't think you can do it online, but you can go there, or make it easy for you, you can just give me the check, I will send it in with that.
Easier this way.
It will be
Thanks,
to
John.
Delaware County Regional
All right.
Planning Commission.
Let's move on that.
And then, once they review it, then they'll send back the recommendations, and it's normally before their hearing, and then that way they can say, you know, our recommendation is approval or non-approval. If they have conditions, they'll put those on there.
Do
Commission
they-
will read those.
Do they, let Scott know, when their meeting will be on it?
They,
Cause they hold a meeting, a public meeting.
yeah, know that they will, but when I find out when it is, I can let you know. Because I'll get notification when they're meeting.
And very
I'm
often.
Sure,
Well,
I'll
they have,
conversation
once a
with
month.
them.
they do their meetings once a month.
Once a month,
Yeah.
yep.
And you don't.
And they have a
to-
schedule on the,
Yes.
on the website.
It's the third Thursday of the month, I think.
I think.
No, I think it's the
Is it
fourth.
the fourth? Okay. I
It's
knew
the
it was
fourth
a
Thursday.
Fourth Thursday of the month is when. they
And
have
then
their
there are a couple of exceptions to that, but
And they'll make a formal recommendation, probably some kind of staff report that'll go to you guys and
Yep.
you either.
Yep.
You give that the weight that you decide to give that.
Yep.
Pretty much.
I knew there was
It
something
is
new.
new.
I knew there was something new is why I
It's
asked the
the
question.
time
I just didn't know for
difference.
sure what it was. But
Yeah.
I knew they had put something new in place.
It's a review fee.
Okay.
Actually, so now every application that goes to them is 200.
It's the same review. They just now are charging a fee for it.
Yep.
yeah, that was something they added.
Fees for the fees that
Yeah.
you have to pay a fee for.
Yeah, I understand. Well, that was my only question. I appreciate it.
Yes, I'm glad you asked, because that is something that a lot of people don't know, and I've had to call almost every applicant. Hey, I still need to know.
Well, at this point, then the decision will be yours as to whether or not you
Yeah.
actually submit an application. The comments that you heard here tonight, if you decide to go forward, hopefully will help you with that.
They very much do. I appreciate your guys' time and I know this has been a long process, but
But the steps that we have gone through were necessary simply because
Yeah.
things have evolved
very much so.
while you started this process or during the time that you've been working on this process.
Well, you know, and I understand there's more time to come and some things we have to consider and work out. Just know that I guess in the interim, we have engaged with the neighbors and will continue to be open to, you know, if they have any complaints or concerns, Mike can pass those along, but we notified all of them, had the public meeting and, you know,
Good.
does not appear to be an outcry of lack of support for what's going on there. There was the big incident that happened that does not happen anymore, but obviously we're committed to trying
he's-
to address that.
Mr. Kavashi has worked to be a good neighbor.
He is trying.
And that's a big difference. And the neighbors certainly appreciate it, and so do all the township officials.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And whatever you decide, we'll look forward to your decision.
Great.
So I guess at this point, you let Mike kind of know. how
I will talk to
proceed.
Mike about it and see, I'm highly suspicious that we'll try the BZA and see what happens through that route. And if we're not successful, we'll probably be filing a formal application and trying to rezone the property.
With the preliminary meetings, doesn't it get two?
I've
This
had
is
This
the
is the
second.
second.
This is the second
You
one.
weren't at the first one.
Oh, okay, there it is. I was gonna say, I was like, don't.
It was a while ago.
Okay.
Does- You're
It was-
correct. It
This
does
is
get two, but this is the second.
Oh,
Our
well,
second meeting.
Yeah.
sorry, I couldn't get all my.
I had a,
pieces out of the way then.
If we're done, yeah.
It
I had
would have
a few months
occurred-
off by some heart surgery and some
Oh,
other
okay.
things that
Oh,
kind of
okay.
waylaid me for a little. So,
You doing
Yeah,
okay
we-
now?
Yes.
We were
Great.
scheduled to do it
Everything's
sooner,
fine.
but then it had to be
Yeah.
postponed for a
Yes,
while.
it
Yeah,
did.
your first preliminary meeting was my first meeting with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
my.
there you go.
The commission.
Yep.
Oh, you're looking good. Hope you're feeling
Yes,
better.
no, it was, yeah, it was a congenital thing that I had since I was born that I didn't know about. So it's one of those where you go in for something else
Yeah.
and they find something that's not safe.
Why did they think that?
It was very fixable, but it was surgery and it was kind of a few months of, you know,
Still scary.
it was scary because, yeah, it was a life-threatening condition if you don't get it taken care of. And so an electrical problem that they fixed, and there you go.
Happy to have you here.
Yeah. So thank goodness they found it.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I'm glad things went well for you too.
Yeah, they really did. So appreciate your time. That was a long evening, so I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks, Scott.
Have a good evening.
All right, well, good night.
Not over yet, Scott.
23 minutes. We
I
can do
was
it.
saying we still have.
You still have other things to do.
23 minutes.
And I know, I do have a question before we dive into the minutes, because I
Oh,
think
sure,
that's
go
not
ahead.
here. It's actually in relation to the review and approval of the minutes. Is there an option for us to like approve, like make one motion to approve them all, or do we have to do 6 motions?
We could do, I don't know for certain, but it seems like if we did one motion, you'd have to identify each one
Okay.
Yeah.
in the motion.
That's
We
what
could
we
do
do for the
that.
trustees.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Yeah.
say approval of minutes. Boom, boom. boom,
Okay, I
boom,
didn't know the
boom.
trustees did
Yeah,
it that way.
Yep.
Okay,
Just
Oh.
approve
but then you would identify
Okay.
one motion.
I
And
like what you're thinking.
in this case, like we've got,
I do too.
you know,
I mean-
I don't know whether you want to do potentially two motions on something like this, or you would just do one and list all 6.
And
But that's a possibility, but we would have to list them. I mean,
yeah.
identify them
Sure,
in
we
the
can do
motion.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can still like go through one by one and just review in case anybody has any comments and then just make
Well, that's what
one
we would have to
summary
do.
motion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
let's do it.
we're gonna start doing it that way?
Yeah, I love
Okay,
it.
that's fine. Save a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll make it a little well,
Get easier
and
for
less,
her to type it all up too.
fewer words to type as well.
Yes, yes. It really, especially when we get like so many like this, it does make it really easy. You just have to, list like 4,
Yeah.
9, 2. 8.
That's right.
8 long.
Motion for
Yeah.
you.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for asking
Yeah.
and bringing it to
Sure.
our attention.
Sure.
And I didn't know the trustees were already doing it.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Good.
Just make it quick.
Then we're not going to be breaking any new ground that's going to upset them. All right.
Trailblazer.
Oh, before we get started though, specifically on the motions, just, I guess, for information purposes. For, those of you who don't know, which would be Louis and Brittany at this point, maybe you've heard, but, Miller, Russ Miller, trying to think of his first name, Russ Miller, who owns the property down at the corner of Harlem and Smothers, is, initiating steps to potentially pull down the overlay district on his property
Oh.
for multi-use. And the first step in that process under our new procedures would be for informal discussions again, but not with the zoning commission. It doesn't start there specifically. But
What
it
overlay?
will involve, if you look
What's
at
that
what it
picture
specifies, it identifies 2 members of the zoning commission,
Mixed use.
the zoning inspector, and then whoever the potential applicant would want to involve.
Oh, is
So,
that like the site walk?
no, there's no
Oh,
walk
there's
on
no
this
walk.
one.
Oh, okay.
Not at the first one.
Oh,
There
okay.
would be down the road,
I see.
but at this point, it'll just be a meeting to have some preliminary discussions.
Does he have sewer?
Not yet.
Oh, it's not that sewer overlay.
Oh, it's-
Yeah,
He says.
Well,
close to
but it
streets.
is going to be there, yes.
Okay.
he's very, very, would be one of the first properties to get.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you can pull down the overlay without sewer or?
Pull it down.
Well, he'll pull it down potentially, but it'll take, if he starts this process now, it'll probably be 2 years before it can be completed.
He
Okay.
can't do anything until
Right.
the sewer.
Until
He
the-
could not build anything until the sewer's there.
Okay.
I mean, in the sense of they would have to, at this point, the sewer hasn't been identified specifically where it's going to be and so forth. He's trying to explore whether or not,
So we can approve him to pull the overlay down before the sewer?
no,
I don't.
Okay.
We.
I-
it has to be
the-
sewer. I mean, that's what it's
But just,
specified.
I would think him getting through that process is probably gonna take, getting through the zoning, the overlay process is probably gonna take a year and a half.
It's gonna be a
It's gonna
long
take a long
time.
time for him to figure all that out, so he probably doesn't wait until sewers get there to pull it down. He wants to probably
I got.
act like the sewers are there now, start working on his plan, then by the time the sewers are there, he's got his plan ready, he can get the zoning changed and he can get going.
Okay.
Well, Johnny and Tom will be participating in that first informal discussion and they can kind of share with us what happens
Okay.
at one of our October meetings.
Good.
Because,
So I have a question because overlays aren't new.
Yes.
And they just were getting started when I was getting here. Or you guys were actually well underway. So Brittany said a walkthrough. So you guys with an overlay would actually go to the property to see the layout or
Walk the lot.
like walk the
Yeah.
lot of it?
yes,
Okay.
there's a walkabout kind of situation that can
So you
happen.
don't do that with the other properties?
We
Is
do
it just
with
because it's
planned-
unique?
But we do it with planned districts.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the only time.
Or we can do it with them. We've done it with planned residential or the conservation district stuff.
PRCD.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look whether that is, I don't know that there's a
We've done it-
walkabout required in the multi-use.
I don't remember either. And I don't think it's required for PCDs.
Not for PCD, it's not, no.
I just know that hasn't been something. that
It's
I
only
have
for
seen yet.
the residential conservation district, I think. These are all new.
We haven't-
But,
have we-
We did do a walkabout for the one that we
it was
have
proposed, but then it got,
down on the corner of Harlem and Gorsuch down there.
Okay, Ivy Ridge.
But it's mostly on Harlem. No,
No.
That's the,
not polo.
there's no name on it yet because nothing's happened.
They never
Oh,
posted,
okay.
yeah.
the residency they call it. Is it the resident?
Oh, that's what, maybe you're right.
Where the polo fields were.
But there's no signage or anything because they haven't moved forward with anything. They do have the PRCD pulled down on it though. Or it's not an overlay.
It's north. of the-
It's approved as a PRC.
Between
So
the
it is an
polo fields.
overlay that's pulled down. That can be
Right-
pulled down
right in that
anywhere in the
corner,
township
Harlem and Gorsuch.
if you can meet the requirements.
Thank you.
Okay, just wanted everybody to know about it.
Good.
I know the meeting's been set up and you guys can fill us in on what happens.
Tom, I did get the message from Holly today.
You did.
Did you tell her I was gonna be there? Do I need to respond to this?
Well, I mean, if you got the real message, there's a yes button. Just
Oh,
click
she
on it.
finally got it out to
Click the
you.
yes button.
Well, apparently she sent it like Friday or something, and I just got it today.
Well, she
Yeah,
sent
well-
it again today.
Oh.
Initially sent it to .net because I'm sure that was what she
Okay.
had in her
And that's the one I got
address.
today. Okay,
16 minutes.
So that's why it was delayed.
okay.
All right.
I sent her that information once, Tom actually informed me that had been an error on her part.
Okay.
Okay. That's all. I just wanted to bring that up as an announcement for everybody.
Good update.
We don't have, there's no discussion about it because there's nothing to discuss until they move something forward.
I did have a chance to look at all the minutes. I didn't have comments on most of them, so I didn't, leave a message on them. That's fine.
I reviewed them all and made the edits that I needed to make and put all my notations in the margins.
Same.
So I'm done.
And I saw that I think Ashley, you added the motion to, which one was
Yes.
that? Yeah,
I don't know how I missed that.
that was
So
the,
Thank you for catching that.
yeah, no problem, no problem.
I think
The one set 2511 was initially missing, but
But you added that. I see
You
that
added
added
it,
it,
yes.
so I think we're good to go.
So the regular meeting minutes. I've got one small change. I sent it in, but probably too late. So on the second page down near the bottom. It says the regular meeting was recessed at 8:28. After it was reconvened at 8:37, so I think that should be 8:38.
Good catch, Tom.
when it was recessed. Okay,
And Tom, I did see yours. I just didn't reprint, but I do have it fixed on.
Okay,
For
fine,
the master to be printed off. on.
gotcha.
okay.
That's it on that one.
I missed that one too. Yeah, you can't go backwards in time. Even though we'd like to
That's
sometimes.
pretty nice.
All right,
Anything else on the other ones?
that's about 09, which is Muirfield. 10,
Nothing.
Lyson Kaiser. 11 is Kaiser.
11, I do have one thing. The public via Zoom. Where it says lie,
Mhm.
her name is 3 names. Woo, W-O-O. Her middle name, or it's her family name. The first name is Lai, L-A-I.
Okay.
And then Yi, Y, capital Y-E-E.
Okay, so 3 separate.
Yeah. Wu Lai Yi.
Wait,
So it's Wu
is it?
Lai
Yi,
Li
Yi,
Y-E-E.
Y-E-E, yeah. And she owns one of the properties just to the west of these 3. And the reason I know that is because she came in for a split. She came in for a rezoning, so she can split it.
Well, that's
Oh,
all she
yeah, I
put
remember
in
that
the
one, yeah.
Zoom, though. It's just LAI.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
So
Yeah,
that's the only change that we have on 2511.
I was gonna say, what was that, 11, 25, 11?
25,
Yeah.
2511, correct. Okay. Okay, and then the next one is 2512 RS8 properties, which was continued or recessed.
I have nothing.
Any changes? Right. And then the last one is 2513. Changes on that one, okay. So now,
I found it. Can you say how to spell my name again?
oh, sure,
So her family name is Wu, the family name comes first, it's Wu, W-O-O. And then Lai, L-A-I, and then capital Y-E-E as her third name.
Thank you.
Ulai.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to approve as the minutes as corrected for the regular meeting minutes of September 2nd, the hearing minutes for application HTZ 2509, the hearing minutes for application HTZ 2510, the hearing minutes for application HTZC 2511, the hearing minutes for application HTZ 2512, and the hearing minutes for application HTZC 2513, all as corrected.
Second.
And it was seconded by Brittany. Very good.
Love that.
All in favor? Well, let's see, any further discussion? Better say that first. If there's no further discussion, then we're not doing a roll call, just a. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those minutes are approved, and I like doing it that way when we have multiple sets like that. Thank you for bringing that up, Brittany.
Thank
The only issue might be if somebody had to recuse themselves or wanted to vote no on one of the things.
Yeah.
That's when you would pull that one out.
Yeah.
You could
I mean,
bring that up during discussion.
Yeah, whoever has that. issue.
Yeah. So you just pull that one out and deal with the others and deal with that one separately.
Easy enough.
Okay. Anything further? I did the announcement already. That's all I had. So a motion to adjourn would be appropriate.
So move.
Thank you,
Second.
Louis. And seconded by Brittany. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no.
21.
Okay, we are adjourned.
But there's still the HDCA, the Civic Association